Chapter 3 of God Died at 3 o'clock by Reverend Gerald T. Brennan. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. The Kiss. Time stands still in the Garden of Olives as Jesus and his apostles wait for the traitor. They see the torchlights grow brighter and they hear the sound of tramping feet grow louder. The traitor is not coming alone. He brings with him a band of followers. Jesus walks closer to the entrance of the garden. Peter feels the sword hidden beneath his cloak. He grips it tightly and draws nearer to the Master. The noisy mob bursts into the garden. Soldiers, servants of the high priest, men from the streets. Some carry lanterns and torches, others wave swords and sticks and clubs. Now they stop before Christ and his apostles. The men stare as if they are surprised to find anyone here at this hour. But why do they come? Who sends them? Jesus steps forward to speak the first word. His voice is calm and firm. "Whom do you seek?" he asks. "Jesus of Nazareth," calls out the men. Jesus answers quickly, "I am he." At these words the men stagger and fall back, as if struck by a mighty blow. Slowly the mob draws together again. As boldness returns to them, one man suddenly steps forth from their midst. Peter's eyes flash. The smiling figure who now steps from the crowd toward the Master is Judas. "Hail, Master," he says as he throws his arms around Christ and kisses him. This kiss is the kiss of a traitor. It is the traitor's signal to these men who have come for Jesus with swords and clubs. Now the men know that Jesus is the one whom Judas has greeted with a kiss. At once there is an uproar. The men crowd around Christ. They seize him quickly, thinking he will try to escape. But they are mistaken. Jesus does not try to escape. He does not try to run away. He stands silently and faces his enemies with courage. As these angry men press around Jesus, Peter wonders what he can do to save Christ. If Peter attacks this mob alone, he will be quickly overpowered and perhaps killed. But he might be able to hold back the crowd long enough to give Jesus a chance to get away. This is a bold plan. It means that Peter may be killed. But to save Christ, Peter will risk it. Pulling out his sword, he strikes swiftly at the man nearest to the Master, a servant of the high priest. The blow is wild and cuts off the servant's right ear. But Peter's brave attempt is quickly stopped. "Put away your sword," Christ commands him. "Don't you know," he goes on kindly, "if I would ask my Father, He would send angels to help me?" Peter does not answer. He is puzzled. He draws back from the crowd and covers his sword. Jesus then steps toward the wounded servant and touches the side of his face. At once the blood stops running and the wound is healed. This act of kindness does not change the feelings of the mob. Many times before Christ has worked miracles and has been hated. These men, too, still hate him, and they do not allow this new miracle to soften their hearts. Jesus knows that it is useless to argue, but he raises his hand and asks a question. "Am I a robber? Why, then, have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me? I sat daily with you in the temple teaching, and you did not lay hands on me." Not a man dares to answer. They are afraid to answer because Jesus speaks the truth. For several moments there is silence, and then some of the men begin to grumble. Others wave their clubs in the air and push closer to Christ. Where are the apostles? Gradually they have drawn away from Christ and are now standing at the edge of the crowd. They pity Christ, but they are shaking with fear. They see that Christ cannot escape, and they are afraid that his enemies may also seize them. They are in danger, and they must act quickly. While the mob crowds and pushes around Christ, the apostles run fearfully into the olive grove and disappear in the darkness. Christ is alone. His friends have run away. He is the prisoner of a wild and angry mob. Christ's hands are tied with a rope. His enemies handle him roughly. But Jesus does not complain. The men lead Jesus from the garden and start for the city of Jerusalem. God is now the prisoner of men. End of chapter 3.